Hey, good morning, everybody. Sunday morning once again. Let's get the levels right here. So last week, I was playing through my head rush and through a Strat that I had here, and when I listened back to the audio, it was terrible. You guys didn't tell me. I think I had the echo cancellation on, and because of that, I think the sound was cutting off. Like it would hit the notes would come through high, and then they would die off. So I'm hoping that that's not happening now. Could you guys give me a little feedback on the sound before we start? I just want to make sure that everything's good. I put the amp pretty low because anything higher than this is going to clip. So I want to try and keep the sound levels manageable. So can you tell me if it's good? Not clipping? How does that sound, guys? Yeah, if the sound goes wonky, guys, please let me know so I won't torture you guys. So today I'm playing this Gibson 335. I haven't taken this bad boy out of the case in a long time, so I figured it was time. It was time to take it out and take it for a spin. I love this guitar. I'm a big fan of these 335s because they just like resonate so well with the semi-hollow body situation. And I'm a big fan of the 57 Classics. These 57 Classics rock in this guitar. So this is a guitar I purchased quite a while ago, and I don't know how many years it's been. But yeah, one of my favorites. I don't take it out much though. I don't know why, I just don't want to break the headstock. You know, these things are notorious for breaking the headstocks. The angle, the break angle on the necks is a kind of a defect. Everybody says it's the wrong angle, and so they're very fragile because right over here where the truss rod is, what ends up happening is they have to drill a hole, right, to put the truss rod in. And because they do that, there's not a lot of meat. Like when you factor in the hole, you don't have a lot of meat on the back of the neck here to hold the headstock in place. So you just look at this thing funny and it pops right off. I know so many people that have busted headstocks on their 335. And the funny thing is, when they bust the headstocks and they glue them back on, they bring it somewhere to get fixed, it's actually better than it was originally. So I don't know why Gibson still insists on keeping this old design. Good morning, everybody. So let me say good morning to everyone that's in the house today. We have Jack Collins. You were the first one in today. I saw you. Bright and early as always. Let me put up the question of the day. Did I put it up already? I think I did. Let me see here. Probably not, actually. Let me put that up for you guys. Give me a sec. There we go. So you should be able to see the question of the day in the side comments on your browser. So the question is, when buying, selling gear right now, has it become a seller's market? What's been your experience? I don't know if you guys are buying right now or selling right now. I don't know what the situation is. Let me see what's going on here. Oh boy. Let me see. So if you guys are buying, have you guys sold anything? I mean, a lot of people are clearing out gear right now, right? Because, you know, some people need cash. I get it. So let me continue saying good morning here. I get distracted sometimes, guys. I apologize. So Jack Collins, good morning. Alan, good morning to you, my friend. Cushman, nice to see you. Good morning. Paul, how are you, man? Vox Guitars Rock, nice to see you, buddy. Henry, how are you, Henry? Hey, Wayne. Kelowna. Where's Kelowna, Wayne? Kelowna. I can't even pronounce it. Good morning to the Nye. Richard Johnson, good morning. Bruce, how are you? All my good friends are back. Nice to see everybody. Gospel of Mark. Nice to see you from Maryland. 5150, good morning. Hey, Fat Philosopher, how are you? So Fat and I were just enjoying Shane's broadcast. I caught it this morning by haphazardly, and I think they're still on there. So nice to see the boys keeping busy all the way in Australia. Fat Philosopher says he was the first to like. All right. So you weren't first on, but you were first to like, so that counts, right? Alan says the guitar sounds very thin. The reason it sounds thin probably is because it's so low. I'm only on the 2-watt setting. The amp is behind me. It's actually over there. Here comes trouble. Let me see if maybe if I get out of the line of sight of the amp. Does that sound better? Does that sound less thin, guys? I don't know. I'm trying my best. It's really hard to get a good sound because the microphone is a USB mic. It's all the way here on my desk. The amp I'm playing through is the Black Star behind me. And the Black Star, you know, it's probably about 10 feet away from the little cheapy mic. I have it on the 2-watt setting because if I put it on the regular setting, it's going to be too loud and it's going to clip the mic. So, you know, trying my best, guys. I basically have my guitar plugged into my pedal board right over here under my desk, and I'm right now all I got on is I'm actually playing through the clean channel of the Black Star, but you hear drive because I have the TL honker pedal on for just to give it a little bit of drive. So if I take that off, let me see here. Can you hear that? Paul says, I use headphones, the guitar sounds fat. So, yeah, maybe it's the speakers. I don't know. I wish I had a setup where I can actually mic the amplifier and then have the voice coming in through the mic here. Unfortunately, the setup doesn't allow me to have more than one mic going at one time. So, you know, it's the limitation of the technology. Tony, playing louder today. No one else home. Yeah, they're home, but they're outside, and my son's sleeping, so he should wake up anyways. It's 10 o'clock. And it's actually not that loud. In the room, I'm playing at a 2-watt setting. If I put it on the neck pickup, it fattens up real fast. Kind of makes it like more jazzy. So let's get to some question, guys. So regarding the question of the day, let me see if any of you guys have experienced it being a buyer's or a seller's market right now. I've sold some stuff recently, nothing crazy, little things, and I got the price I was asking for. So I'm thinking they weren't guitars, however. So I don't know if this scenario holds true for guitars. Now, although I like these 335s tremendously, I have a really bad case of gas for the models that have the instead of having the tailpiece, they have the extended tailpiece that comes down to here, and they, instead of dots, they have the block inlays. That's an earlier model. Those are beautiful, but I mean the cheapest I've seen for those models with busted headstock is almost 5,000 bucks. So one day, maybe. Maybe. We'll see what happens. If I'm a good boy, maybe. Maybe my wife will get one for me. Doubt it. If she's watching, I'm only joking, dear. Love you. So let's see. Let's see what some of you guys are chatting about now. Alan Papp says, I live just inside the Welsh border. Most of Wales are now in local lockdown. It's going to be a long winter. Oh boy, here we go with the COVID chat. I was hoping to not talk about that today, but I guess it's normal. It's on everyone's mind. Yeah, it looks like we're going into the second wave, guys, whether we like it or not. That's what's going to happen. People are getting what I call pandemic fatigue. You know, they're just getting so tired of going through the protocol of social distancing, wearing masks, washing their hands. And I think they're getting used to the idea now. So a lot of people, what's happening is some people are protesting straight out, saying that this whole thing is a lie. It's a big lie, and you know it's not as serious as everyone is making it to be, which I don't believe is true. But everybody has their own opinions on that, and yeah, people are just getting fed up. They're getting comfortable. I think right now they're getting comfortable with the idea that it's there, and they're starting to forget how serious it is. And because of that, more and more people are being exposed. They're taking less precautions. More and more people are social gathering in bars and restaurants and stuff like that. Locally here, there was actually a protest march, believe it or not, just yesterday, where they blocked off one of the highways. There was probably 300 or 400 people protesting, none of them wearing masks, by the way, and you know, just telling, just saying that they don't believe this whole thing is as serious as it should be, and the government should reopen business and all that kind of stuff. And needless to say, we're having the highest numbers coming in the last couple days of people getting infected. So is there a correlation? I think there is, but unfortunately people are just reluctant to believe the facts. And so it's unfortunate, but I think the numbers are going to continue to go up, and eventually we're probably going to be headed for a pretty rough winter, guys. So I'm hoping that maybe the winter weather, especially here in Canada, because it's so harsh, people tend to stay indoors. So maybe that'll help us in the long run. Maybe people will not get exposed as much because they won't be social gathering as much, but only time will tell. I hope you guys are all well and safe, and I hope nobody's been exposed, especially members of your families. Keep everyone safe as much as you can. All right, so let's look at some of the questions. Let's forget about COVID for the next hour. Let's talk about guitars and amps. I'm just reading your comments. Yeah, I know the lockdown for a virus that's 99% survivable. What WTF? That's Vox Guitars Rock. Yeah, it's 99% survivable if you're a healthy individual with no complications. It's survivable for people that are not don't have a compromised immune systems. But I mean, I wouldn't want to be responsible for the death of my loved ones. Any of even the older generation. My mom and dad are still alive, thank God, knock on wood. They all have health issues, and I would be torn to bits if I was responsible for their death. Maybe I'd be able to come out of it okay, hopefully. But I wouldn't want to be responsible for anybody else's demise. So I'm doing the socially responsible thing. I'm taking precautions. It's not a big deal. I wear a mask. Okay, it's a hassle, but it protects me. It protects you. It's more about the other person, I think. It's not just about yourself. I think a lot of people are forgetting that. Yeah, it's an inconvenience. But I mean, at the end of the day, if we can save one life, I think it's worth it. You know what I mean? So that's just how I feel about it. I mean, people complain about the masks and it's uncomfortable and it's hard to breathe with the mask on. Well, it's a lot harder to breathe when you're in ICU, intubated, and have to be put on a ventilator. I'd rather just wear a mask, to be honest with you. So Trinity Ludus TV has a good question. So let's look at his question here. Can I put it on? I think I can. There we go. All right, let me put that on. What's your opinion on brass saddles and steel saddles for Telecaster? Good question. I'm a big fan of Telecasters, as you guys all know. Actually, I have one right there. There's another one there. There's a few more. Actually, I turned the guitars around. I got a comment from a friend of mine the other day, and he's like, your guitars are the other way around. I can't see what you have. So I normally don't put them that way, but I figured I'd turn them around so you guys can see what they are instead of just seeing some of the backs. But getting back to the question on the brass saddles and steel saddles for Telecaster, I'm a big fan of the brass compensated saddles for Telecaster. I think they work well. It's nice to have the compensated ones, and I don't know if you know what that is, but normally the saddles on a Telecaster are like a round cylinder shaped pieces of brass. And the compensated ones they have like little bevels cut in them, one going one way, one going the other way. This helps with the intonation of your guitar. So it helps you intonate the individual strings a little bit better, because on a Telecaster with a 3 saddle bridge, two of the strings share one saddle, so it's hard to intonate them. But as far as the material goes, I feel that brass is a little bit warmer than the steel, and brass also doesn't rust. It wears out a little bit, but it doesn't rust. So if you rest your hand on your saddle, I tend to like the brass a little bit more. So that's my opinion on that. I hope that answers your question. Fat Philosopher says, I will take a closer look tomorrow. They cover these amps in plastic, so it's hard to see well. Stupid punch-ups. So Fat Philosopher says that he was talking about, if I'm not mistaken, you found a Princeton. Let me go back to that question. I saw it go by earlier. Let me put that up on the screen here if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. So he saw a Fender Princeton selling for $300 USD in a pawn shop. So first of all, I want to ask you, do you spend most of your days in a pawn shop, Fat Philosopher? Or do you work in a pawn shop? Because every time we have these conversations, you always start off the messages with, I was in a pawn shop and I saw a dot dot dot. So I guess you're looking for deals. That's great. Well, look, my opinion on the Fender Princeton, $300 is a steal. Grab it, and if it's a Fender Princeton tube, and it's in good condition, hasn't been modified or is not damaged or anything, $300 is a steal, man. If you can grab it for 300, grab it right away. If you don't grab it, I'll send you $300. You can grab it for me. Those things normally sell for quite a bit on the used market. I rarely see them for under $1,000 anymore. And that's just a regular, like, run-of-the-mill current version. If you're looking at the ones that are like older, they're a lot more expensive right now. So yeah, grab it if you can. So Wayne says, bought 3 used lately, sweet deal on each. And I'm in the Okanagan, British Columbia. Now, sorry, Wayne, what did you buy exactly? I'm sorry, I didn't catch the thread there. I'm not sure if you're talking about guitars now or if you're talking about something else. Just let me know what it was that you were referring to there. So Strat 5150 says, doesn't your JJN have an audio interface built in? Yes, it does. It does. The thing is, with this software that I have, I can only actually have one source. So if I have an audio interface going at the same time, it wouldn't necessarily work. It would have to either be the audio interface going or the mic. Unfortunately, I can't have both of them going. That's the issue. But I prefer playing through the amp and not going through the audio interface. Just because you get the nuance of the room and everything else. So I feel that you get, at least in the room, it sounds way better than just going through the audio interface. Not that the audio interface on the amp is shabby or anything like that, because it isn't. It's actually pretty good. I'm actually surprised by how good it is. Fat says, sorry, but the honker is not a good name for a pedal, nor is the duck. He needs to put a sexy female on it. So, Fat Philosopher is referring to the TL pedal that I have on my board. It's the TL Honker. It's a Canadian pedal designer that I had on the show. You guys may have caught that live chat that I did with him. That's Tim Lewis from TL Pedals. If you ever want to check out his pedals, he makes some good stuff. I mentioned that in the conversation that we had. I told Tim, I said, Tim, honker's not a good name for a distortion pedal. Nobody wants a honky sound. But he figured, staying with the Canadian theme, Canadian, we're talking beavers, and not the good beavers, the regular beavers. We're talking Canada geese, moose, that type of thing, right? So I guess staying in the Canadian flavor, he wanted to have some sort of correlation to Canada. So he figured a honker would be a good name for it. But I agree with you. I wouldn't name it a honker either, because people are like, I don't want a honky sound. That's definitely not what I'm looking for in a drive pedal. The actual pedal itself is not honky at all. Right now I have it on, actually it's off. If I turn it on, I don't know if you can hear that. The volume is at about 10 o'clock on the dial, and the drive is about 3 o'clock on the dial. So the volume's pretty low, but it's got a lot of boost. I think it sounds great. People say I have a nervous tremolo when I bend this thing, that I should be more relaxed. can't help it. When I'm playing quick, I tend to be more aggressive on the bends. I was watching Steve Vai the other day, and he has this thing that he does with where he actually does this rotation with his finger. He actually does this round movement. And I can't really do that smoothly. I don't know how he does it. Anyways, he's a master. I'm not. So I got to work on my nervous tremolo hand. Let's go back to some of the questions. I'm starting from the bottom since I jumped so much. Hey, Nick. Nice to see you, buddy. Nick in the States. How was the live chat? It looked pretty good. You guys were having some fun there. Gibson, you have it, but finally you love it. Henry, what's the question? Sorry. Gibson, you hate it, but finally you love it. Okay, so I understand what your question is there. So Henry was talking about Gibson. I had a video where I was talking about how I didn't really like Gibson. Let me just clarify. I don't like the policies of the company. I do like the Gibson guitars. One thing I don't like about Gibson guitars is the fact that they don't stay in tune. And the headstock breaks off. But other than that, I like Gibson guitars. I just don't like what Gibson has been doing with policies towards other smaller shops and kind of bullying people. You can watch my video. It's all in there. You'll know what I mean. FX Steen says, you don't have a nervous hand. I don't? You sure about that? That's pretty nervous. But this is nervous too, isn't it? That's pretty nervous. I don't know. I don't know if it's nervous or just aggression. Whatever it is, that's me. Uh-oh, we have somebody that's not happy about Gibson. Fat Philosopher, Gibson equals overpriced crap. Yeah, it is overpriced. I agree with you, man. I don't know if it's crap, though, but it's overpriced. They can definitely make cheaper guitars. I think it's just part of the game. They've made their name now, so they're going to run all the way to the bank. Pedals sound great. Tim Lewis pedals sound great, are built like a tank, and are relatively cheap. I have his Rat, part for part, a Rat big box replica circuit killer. I haven't checked out the Rat. To be honest, I was never a big fan of the Rat. I know it sounds, a lot of people love that sound, but the ones that I've heard, maybe because I was listening to older videos that weren't recorded really well, I felt that the Rats were not the sound I was after, but then again, maybe it's because I haven't tried one in person, at least not the original old circuit. I opened up the back of my Eastman SB59, nicely hand-wired, vintage style as it should be. And that's beautiful to see, isn't it? 5150. Doesn't it warm the cockles of your heart when you open up the back panel and it sounds so good? And it looks so good, nice and neat, nicely soldered and everything, all the wiring neatly put in there, instead of the rat's nest that you see sometimes when you buy a guitar from overseas. You know what I mean? Finally got my first bass, a Squier P bass. Don't know how the teenage girl who had it could play it because it was never set up. Sure nice after a fret level and recrown. You know what, Wayne, that's the best scenario. I'm telling you, man, I can't tell you how many times it's happened to me that I go check out a guitar that's being sold through some seller that's, whatever, wants to sell it on a local Craigslist or Kijiji or something, and the guitar is set up so badly that you can hardly play it, right? My Case in point, do I have it here? There, my PRS SE that I showed you last week. That guitar, when I went to check it out, the guy had put super fat strings. He was probably playing some kind of metal music or something like that. And the strings were not even seated in the slots of the actual nut. They were actually sitting on the edge, the opening of the nut slot. So I don't know, number one, how he stayed in tune. Probably was not in tune. And I don't know how he managed to like not break the nut because his strings are so heavy. And of course, the action was super high right at the nut. Played like crap. And you know, he felt the guitar was a dud. I ended up lowballing him on the offer and took it home, set it up, and it plays like butter. It's beautiful. So when you come across situations like that, man, that is a great opportunity to grab something and not be not have to pay full price. Bruce says they do make cheaper guitars. They're called Epiphones. I was talking about Gibson. Yeah, Epiphones are not bad. I like Epiphones. I just don't like the headstock. I've said that before. The interior of my Tokais looked like some little girl got in there and cleaned it with a tiny broom. That's so funny, Christian. That's really funny. That's what I like about my Tokais too. Some little guy probably did clean it. Oh boy. The trem was pulled way up in the back. High action. Saddles bottomed out. I still had the plastic under the screws and knobs, even the back, so it had never been right. Most of the guitars that you end up buying, new or used, have to be set up properly. So, even from the store, you know what I mean? Like you said, you know, American Strat Traded was set up like crap. A lot of times the stores don't take 2 minutes to set up their guitars. I don't even know how they sell them. We got lots of these brands here in Hiroshima. I personally got an ESP-LP Grassroots. You're lucky, man. So you should be my contact. You should be my mule, Fat Philosopher. You know, if you catch a good Tokai, let me know. Tony, my wife wants to know what your dog's name is. Well, her name is Maya, but she's sleeping. Hey, Maya. She's been sleeping so soundly these days. She's she's 13 years old, and I think her hearing is going, because now when I have to wake her up when she's asleep, I gotta basically nudge her. Before it would be like, you know, boom, she would wake up. Now she just sleeps like a baby. Which stuff do you use to clean nitro lacquer on your guitar? Good question. Generally, you don't want to use any type of solvents on lacquer. You want to be super careful. I just basically use a little bit of store-bought cleaner, the polish stuff that is lacquer safe. Usually it'll say on the bottle. You can get the Dunlop stuff. It's a little spray, or you can get the polishing compound, which is a cream. You don't have to go crazy. Just light cleaning is all you need to do. The most important thing with lacquer is don't make anything that is oil-based, like an oil-based plastic or rubber, come into contact with the finish. It's going to melt the lacquer. I learned that the hard way. When I was working on my guitar the last time, when you guys, if you guys remember, those of you who have been here before for longer, a little longer, know that I was building a kit. Actually, I have another one. It's back there right now. The other 335 body. That originally I had purchased a kit from Do-It-Yourself guitarkits.net, DIYguitarkits.net. And I purchased a 335 kit that is identical to that one, and that was the first time I made a 335 from a kit. And I did a couple of things wrong. I put up the videos for you guys. You can see how I did most of the process there if you're interested. But here, let me show you actually, since it's right there. Let me just unplug for a second and show you. Maybe she'll wake up now. There she is. There she is. All right. So this excuse me. So this guitar is not the same guitar that I was working on previously. So when I made the first one, what I did was I accidentally glued in the neck crooked. The neck that they sent me on the kit, to expedite the kit over to me, they only had one or something, and what ended up happening is they took the neck from a kit and the body from another kit and they put them together. And because of that, the neck pocket wasn't precise. And I took it for granted that the neck would have been straight when I put it in the pocket, but it actually was not. So it was slightly skewed, okay? So because of that, I glued it in. Wood glue does not come off. You can try to steam it off and you know, get it off some way. It's very difficult to do that, okay, guys? Let me, you know, you definitely want to make sure it's glued in properly before you do anything. Anyways, long story short, I sent the people at DIY Guitar Kits message. I explained the scenario. They wanted to check it out. I sent the guitar to them to look at. They were kind enough to acknowledge it was an issue. They sent me back another kit. Okay, so the problem with that whole scenario was that I did put in a lot of hours to build the kit initially. But I did some things wrong, and it actually gives me an opportunity to have a do-over. So with this kit now, the neck is glued in. Okay, it's glued in properly. I stained the body like I did the other one, and actually this one's going a lot faster now because I'm familiar with the process a little more. It's my second one that I do, and right now the guitar, all that I did was stain it, seal it with a vinyl coat, like a sanding sealer, and I did a couple of little light mist coats of lacquer. And now what I'll do next is I'll just lightly sand the body, because you can still see some, it's not perfectly smooth. So I'm going to lightly wet sand the body just to make it smooth, and then I'm going to start spraying lacquer on it. Okay, so you can see the front and the back. You can still see that there's pores. It's not completely flat. So with the sanding, that is going to become pretty flat. It's going to look like a glass. I'm going to keep the headstock wood. I'm not going to cover it with black like the Gibson ones are. I'm going to keep it wood because I like the wood. And one thing also about these kits is they do have the same shape headstock as Gibson has. This is hard to cut out. And I have another kit from another company that I'm going to be building that has a very flat headstock. I'll show that to you in a couple of minutes. But this one, the way it's made, just so you know, if you want to put a Gibson logo on here, you can't. This space from here to here is shorter than the Gibson is. So once you put in the tuners and the washers and everything, you don't have enough space to put in the Gibson logo here. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to put in a Gibson logo because it's not a Gibson guitar. I'm going to put in a vertical script name in here. That I'm going to cut out from some vinyl and put underneath the lacquer, so it should be nice. Maybe a gold color or something like that. I haven't determined yet. And what I like about this kit, you see I gave it a little bit of a mist coat of more of a like an oak color, sort of like I tried to mimic the color of the binding when it gets old. You know, it tends to yellow a little bit, yellow orange. So I wanted to give that color, and I think it works pretty nicely. And one of the things that was a real pain for anybody trying to do this is getting the trim over here. Once you stain the guitar, you have stain all over the binding. So you got to remove that with a blade. And so I'm getting very, very good at doing that right now. The first one was very rough. This one came out really nice. So I'm starting to get the hang of it, guys. And of course, the angle of the neck, I don't know if you can see that here. So the angle of the neck here is very important because if the angle's too low, no matter how high you put the bridge, the strings are going to touch the frets. So that's super important. So I made sure everything was good, it's straight, and it's ready to go. So I'm going to be super excited to keep on working on this one. Quicksilver says the spacing on the ears look more narrow than a 335. They are. Yeah, if I take the 335, let's put them side by side. You'll see what I mean. The headstock on the 335, I don't know if I can show you these side by side. They're pretty close. Pretty close. I don't know if you can see that. Pretty close, but no cigar. They have to be slightly different, right? So the color here, with this one I was going for more of like a vintagey color. This one's a lot more vibrant. This one is going to be more subdued. See? So that's what I was going after. This one you can see you'll be able to see the grain and the flame on this one way more than you can see on this one here. So it should be good. We'll see. Let me grab another guitar here. Haven't played this one in a while. Gonna grab this one just so you can hear the difference between the that hollow body, semi-hollow, and this semi-hollow. Just take off. Is this thing tuned? I gotta tune the guitar, as people are gonna complain that my guitar is not tuned. They always do. With all of the humidity and changing climate, you gotta constantly tune all of the guitars. There we go. Okay. So you can hear the difference between this one and the Gibson. This one has a set of V68s from Sanford Magnetics, which are low outputs. Low output pickups are great because they do retain a lot of the nuances that you lose with the higher gain pickups. And if you like that, if you're not going over going for a lot of output. The low output pickups are fantastic. They're called 68 because I think they're only 6.8K. So that's quite low compared. Usually it's almost 8.7, 7.8 to 8 something depending on what you're after. Sorry, I'm trying to get the guitar in view here. I don't know if that sounds good or not, but trying to make you guys hear it. Love this guitar, Tony. Yeah, it's great, Henry. Grab one if you can, man. They're great before the prices go up, especially this color. I'm not a big fan of the other color they offered, but this one's nice. The newer ones actually don't have the big block SE. They have PRS written on there in gold like the American ones. Those are better. If you can grab those, they look better. This one looks like, you know, the SE. I don't know why they made it so big. They could have just put the SE on the truss rod cover, you know, and just put PRS there. Would have been better, but I guess somebody wasn't thinking. It's a long time I haven't played that one. Anyway, tuning is for the weak. I agree. Come on, look at the Stones. They're never in tune. I picked up a player strat for my daughter. Student stock setup was terrible. I redid it. Nice playing guitar. Yeah, man. Same here. I've done the same for my son. And a lot of people will end up buying these student kits, you know, that come with a guitar and an amplifier. And most of the time, they're not set up at all. If you buy something from someone, like if you buy a guitar from someone it's been previously owned by someone else, you might get lucky and get something that's been set up really, really nice. The Kramer behind me was set up really super nice when I bought it, and the guy told me that he brought it to his guitar tech and it had just been set up, and I believed it because it was beautiful when I was playing it. Let me just scroll back to some questions here. You guys typed quicker than I could read the comments here, especially if I'm playing. FX Teen says, I'm so glad to hear you playing while talking with us all. Thanks, man. I had a great Greco EG500 lower and vintage Greco, but sounded vintage. Lower and vintage Greco, but sounded vintage. Sorry. Vintage Gibson and played fantastic. The Grecos have a really good reputation. I think the Grecos typically came from, I forget the factory that was making them, but there was a couple of one factory that was making like 2 or 3 brands. I think Greco was one of them. Bernie was another one. And I think there was a third one. If you guys know, just fill me in. I'm getting a senior moment here. But they're great guitars. The Grecos, the ones I've tried that I found in pawn shops or used guitar shops, all had that vintage mojo to them. I agree with you, man. They just feel vintagey, those guitars. I don't know what it is. Last week I saw on Yahoo Auctions Japan a 1983 Tokai Les Paul mint condition that was $1,000 USD. Yeah, those are the prices. That's actually not that bad. Usually the ones I've seen, at least on Reverb and eBay, tend to sell more towards the $1,400 US range. So $1,000 is not too bad. It's not too bad. I got super lucky with mine, man. I bought mine, both of mine, under $1,000, well under $1,000 used. Uh, the one that I play the most, the one that's Sunburst, I think I paid it $600 Canadian. It was crazy, but it's a while now, right? The prices have gone up all around, so you know, silicon is bad for nitro, yeah, and rubber too. Rubber too. Be careful, you guys. These stands that I have the guitars on here, these are more recent versions. So the little rubber, it's not actually rubber, it's a foam that goes around the neck that holds it. In the old days, they used to be made of rubber. And I had one that I kept for many, many years. And I learned the hard way not to use that. I threw it away because the rubber in those ones ended up like melting the finish. And I had a mark in the back of my guitar neck from that. So you have to be super careful. If you have lacquer guitars, just be aware. That's what I was going to say. The 335 that I'm building there, the previous one that I did, like an idiot, I wrapped it in saran wrap because I wanted to do something. I had to do some touch-ups, so I wrapped the entire body in saran wrap while I sprayed it, figuring it would protect the finish. What ended up happening is the saran wrap has oil in it, and it reacted to the lacquer, and it left a whole bunch of wavy lines on the lacquer. So I had to resand it down and respray it again. So again, chalk one up to experience, right? I knew that lacquer reacted with plastic, but I didn't think it would react to saran wrap, but it did. So now I know, don't use saran wrap when you're trying to mask a guitar. By the way, Fat Philosopher, I have something for you. Since I know you're into headless guitars, I'm gonna be checking out a guitar brand soon. There's a guitar on the way, and they also make headless guitars, similar to the Steinberger stuff. Not exactly the same. You may already know the brand. They're called bootlegger guitars, and I noticed that they do have some headless guitars. And I thought about you because I know that you're a big fan of those. And maybe eventually I'll try and get one for a review. And check them out. They're not super expensive. You might be interested. All right, so stay tuned for that. I'll see if I can get one eventually for you to review. Since I haven't actually reviewed any headless guitars on my channel. It was, Wayne, yes, it was indeed a painful lesson. And that's the best way to learn your lessons, right? When they're painful, you tend to remember them. So I won't be doing that. The satin turned out nice. Yeah, well, the guitar is satiny now because I haven't wet sanded it. It's not going to be that satiny. It's actually going to be gloss when I'm finished. But the idea behind that guitar is to sort of give it a... I'm not going to make it a relic. Like, I'm not going to chip away the paint or anything. But since it's lacquer, it's going to do it naturally very, very easily. I went with a very thin finish on it. So I know it's going to get used up very fast. And that's the look I want to get for it. I want to get it more of an older look. Should be nice. Here we go. How does the shape of the kit guitar compare to the Gibson ES335? Is it the same? To me, it always seems like the templates used on these kits are taken from Epiphone. I mean, honestly, they're pretty close. I think they're pretty close. I mean, that's a good question. I didn't really compare, like I didn't take caliper to it. I know that they're not identical. They can't be. I can tell you, for example, here, let me grab it one more time. I just point out something to you. Since you're asking the question, and I have it here, why not show it to you? Give me 1 second, all right, guy? I'm just gonna grab both of those guitars again. See what I mean? She doesn't wake up. All right. Well, she's awake now. Okay. So here we go. So if we look at the bodies, they're pretty close, right? Look at them. Usually the differences you'll see right away are this shape. They'll either be bigger or smaller. In this case, pretty close. Sometimes the bodies will be slightly smaller. So here we can, I don't know if you can see that. The bodies look like they're pretty close as well in terms of size. In terms of thickness, I don't know if you can see that. Pretty close as well. The main difference that I see in a lot of these kits is that Gibson, the back of the headstock here is flush with the body. Whereas the kits, there's a lip. You have a little lip there. Can you see that? See that lip? Gibson doesn't have that. So not a big deal, but that is the main difference. And as far as the neck and everything else, they're pretty close. The headstock, as I said, the headstock, the kit one is slightly smaller than the Gibson. And the tulips headstock, this thing here, is more defined on the Gibson as opposed to the kit. This one is a little bit more subdued. So those are the main differences, guys. Now let me show you something else. Since we're talking about guitar kits, I also picked up another guitar kit for my son because he wants to try his hand at building guitars. So we're going to see how that's going to work. But let me show you something here. Okay, so this is another kit, and this is a DIY kit, not from the same company. This is from a company called The Fretwire. Different kit altogether. Let me open it up and show you what you get. I'm going to do a full review on this, but I'll give you a little preview. A little preview. So this guitar kit is a Les Paul style kit. So the body is not a 335, it's a Les Paul shape and with just a little bit different. I'll show you. So this one, Les Paul shape body, one pickup. Volume, tone, that's it. And the bridge doesn't have a saddle, a tailpiece. It's just the actual saddle. So this one's going to be a little bit different. Cool looking body. Obviously the top is just a veneer, flame maple veneer. I'm thinking of doing this one in some kind of a maybe a charcoal burst or something like that. The problem with the veneer is when you put in the stain, you have to be super careful because if you try to sand it back, it basically you'll go through the veneer. It's so thin, it's paper thin. Okay, so these are not high-end kits like some of the kits that you can get that have an actual maple cap. Those you can sand till the cows come home and there's no issue. But these ones you have to be careful, okay? And I'll show you the difference with the neck on this one. Just give me a second here. I'll pull this one out. They're kind of sealed in here, so you have to unseal them. All right, here we go. And so this one, come on, work with me. Work with me. It's like getting toothpaste back in the tube. I don't want to tear it because I want to protect it until we're ready to build it. There we go. All right. So this one, you can see the headstock is flat. See? They give it to you flat that way so that you can make it whatever shape you want. It's not going to stay this way because it looks kind of quirky to me. It looks like Dumbo or something, you know. Gumbo, not Dumbo. So I can probably shape this whichever way I want. I can even take a template from the Gibson and use that and shape it like the Gibson. The fretboard, as you can see, is way lighter. So this is definitely not rosewood. But I'll probably darken that up. I might actually stain it darker. Make it look like ebony or something. I'm not really sure yet. And you can see that the neck pocket, the back of the neck is routed very strangely. They do that on purpose to give you somehow a better fit. Because you can see here that the shape kind of continues to go up. So when you put in the neck in the pocket, it's really snug. I'm not going to put it in all the way because it's going to be hard to take out. But you can see what it does. It will basically create a really nice seal to it. This is going to be a nice guitar, guys, with one humbucker and, you know, the wrap tail. I think it's going to be sweet. I'm probably just going to stain the back of it maybe a reddish color or something like that. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do to it yet. Or maybe just stain it black. I'm not sure. But it's going to look nice. And it's going to be a great learning experience for my son. I'm going to pull out the head thing here. Now, if you're interested in getting these kits, you can check out the fret wire. They have different ones. A lot of the kits are back ordered. I'm going to tell you right now. So if you're looking at kits that are like some of the more, I guess, higher end kits, a lot of them you can't get because they're just back ordered. They all come from China, these things, right? So right now things from China are pretty slow. So everyone's experiencing some kind of a backlog. But I'll do the full review on this kit for you guys like I did the other one. In case you're interested, I'll show you all the ins and outs of the kit and go over all of the hardware as well. I think you guys are going to like it. So I don't know what pickup I'm going to put in there yet, but I'm going to try to find something that I like, maybe something a little hotter. As far as the hardware, you usually get the hardware in a bag like this. So don't expect top of the line hardware because it's not. The reason why I went with this kit specifically, because it's simple, there's not much to do. The tailpiece on this one, just so you can see it, the tailpiece is one of these. Can you see that? So it's basically a tailpiece and a bridge in one. So you can actually wrap the strings around the back and you have the little saddles here that you can adjust. It doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look terrible. So I don't know if you can see that. You also have the little hex screws here so that you can adjust the angle of the tailpiece if you want to, you know, tilt it. You have some leeway to do that as well. So it's not too bad. I'll check it out. I mean, I'll put this on first. If it works, I'll keep that one on. If it doesn't work, I'll just grab something else. You know what I mean? I got parts. I should be fine. They even give you strings. The only thing I use the stock strings for when I build a kit is just to make sure the neck is aligned straight before I glue the neck in, and then I throw these away and put some good strings. It comes with a pickup. No clue what it is. It's not branded or anything. So it may sound okay. Again, I'll try it. We'll see. The ring, the pickup ring, usually I probably will remove this one and put in a black one. If I'm going to make the top black, the pickup rings are not going to look nice, as well as the back covers. They're cream. So I need black ones. So I probably will have to get something like that. And the tuners are like, they're okay. But eventually, if it turns out really nice, I'll put some good quality tuners on there as well. So, you know, if you have an option of buying a kit without any hardware, that's probably the better bet. You can spend more money on a kit, like the kit, you know, you can take the money that will normally be put onto the parts that are not usually that good and put it towards the kit with no parts, and then buy the parts that you want and put them on the kit. That's the best way to go, because that way you're not just throwing parts away. So anyways, so that's that. I wanted to show you the kit because it's an interesting thing to be doing, to build those kits. If you guys have tried it before, it's a lot of fun. It takes time, but you learn a heck of a lot. All right, let me go back into the questions here. Sorry, guys, I got probably like 100 questions that I fell behind on that. Let me start from the bottom once again here. Henry says something to play online when completed, Tony. Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's why I like these kits. It's like building models. I was a big fan of building models when I was a kid. You know those little plastic models that you buy? And so this is like the next step. You know, instead of building little car models, now I build guitars. Would look nice with a gold top. I agree. But you know what? Gold tops are really hard, because every little blemish shows up on a gold top. I thought about that. Any kind of like silver flake, any kind of metallic, you have to be super, super careful with them, because like a little defect in the finish shows up right away. That's why I don't want to do that. But I thought about it. And since I already have a gold top, it's back there, the Harley Benton, I figured I don't need another gold top. So I'm going to make that one more. And if the charcoal burst doesn't come out nice, what I'm probably going to end up doing is then just spray it black, completely black. So that's the thing with these kits. If you mess them up really bad, you can just spray them a solid color and be done with it. How much was the kit? The kit is not that expensive. I think it was around US. I'm always stumped with the Canadian to US conversion. I'm gonna say it was about between 160 and 180 bucks, around there. You can check it out on their website, the Fretwire. Nick says, thanks, Paul. It's a cool guitar. It's the right price to dip the toe in the water and have such cool colors. I don't know which guitar you're talking about there. Let me go back. Oh, here we go. Paul says, your Bad Cat is killer. Yeah, I caught that video. Great way for guys to get a semi without doing a 335 thing and finding out the semi doesn't work out. The Bad Cat guitars, I saw those kits those guitars that they're coming out with. They're like, they almost look like thin line Telecasters. They have a limited amount of colors. I think they have red, white, and some other colors, not that many. They look interesting. I don't know how well they sound, but they look interesting. Eventually I might check one of those out. I also have another 2 guitars that are lined up for reviews. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. One's in the case, the bag right there, and another one's coming in. So that's gonna be a surprise. I'm probably gonna have that video up this week, but I don't wanna. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. I'm giving too much away as it is. You guys have to tune in. Gumby. Kush says, love me a Les Paul Jr. I wanted to get a Les Paul Jr. kit before I got this one. I wanted a Les Paul Jr. kit with P90 routes. That's what I was after, because I wanted to get a Les Paul Jr. from Harley Benton, right? But the Harley Benton stuff doesn't come in the color that I want, because they have silver now, and they have the TV. It's supposed to be TV yellow, but it's not really TV yellow. And what I really want is a Junior with P90s red, but not solid red, translucent red, similar to what I did on my 335 kit that I showed you earlier, so I can see the grain. That's what I wanted. Sort of like an SG, you know, like the SG finishes. And not shiny. I wanted it to be matte. So I was looking for a kit like that, but they were sold out everywhere. So I wasn't able to get one. Kind of sucks. Yeah, Nick says, I want to build a blacktop cherry back. Yeah, me too. I wanted to build one with P90s. Like this kit here, I would have preferred to have it with a P90 route. Just black, kind of like the Jerry James Nichols blacktop Gibson. You know what I mean? Something simple but mean. So eventually I might get one like that if I can find one somewhere. I'm in the middle of doing a gold top P90 Telecaster based on a Gibson 56 gold top. Interesting. That's a nice combination. So it's a Telecaster, but a gold top Telecaster based on a Gibson 56 gold top. What paint are you? How did you get the paint for that? Like, it's hard to get that color matched to match the gold top. Where did you get that paint? You can't. I guess you can't go into your normal hardware store and get that. You probably have to get it mixed up somewhere, or you have to go into your auto parts store and try and find that color. It's not a common color anymore, so I don't see too many cars being painted that color. How many times have they now gone back to the drawing board? I think they're referring to Bad Cat. Yeah. It looks like they're going back to the drawing board a few times. I guess they want to get it right. I don't know. From what I've heard about the brand, they seem... I mean, the quality control is not great. They have some interesting... Like, if you look at some of the guitars, some of the Les Paul style guitars, and some of the hollow body style guitars, they look good. I mean, if you look at them through photos, they seem okay. But from what I've heard, it's hit and miss. So you have to keep that in mind with some of these brands, right? And also the name, right? Bad Cat. So Bad Cat amps. That's why they changed their name from Bad Cat to Shenzi, because they were forced to, I think, through Bad Cat amps. So I don't know why they're going back to the Bad Cat name. Should be interesting to follow. The only thing close to that will be the Fat DC Junior. Are you referring to the Fat DC Junior from Harley Benton? I don't know if they have the color I'm looking for. And if they do, they're probably sold out. They have no stock. They're not shipping right now. Good advice, Nick. Unfortunately, I can't buy from them through in Canada, because they don't sell in Canada. They don't even ship to Canada, even if you want to buy directly from them. So, but it's good advice. Buy through Amazon, because Amazon has a really good return policy. If you don't like what you see, you can always send it back. So that's what I would do. Re-Ranch has nice colors. Again, unfortunately in Canada you can't get that stuff. They can't ship it. All of the companies that sell colors like Stumac, anything in an aerosol can you can't get. You can get it in a regular like half-gallon jug or can, but you can't get it in an aerosol because it's flammable and it's dangerous. It's considered hazardous goods. So you have to either mix your own color and then use it with a spray gun, which I don't have, or try and get something in a spray can, which is typically pretty expensive. But you guys in the States are spoiled for that kind of thing. If I had access to all that stuff, I'd be popping out guitars like there's no tomorrow. A lot of the gold top colors are not perfect. Even the one I have here from Harley Benton, it's not a real, true gold top color. Let me show you that. So this looks like it's a gold top. Let me plug it in. It looks like it's a gold top, but it's actually slightly off. I don't know if you probably can't see it in this light, but it's a little, in reality, it's a little bit more like a yellowish orange kind of thing. Whereas the real gold tops are more of a copper color. Let me just tune it up here. So yeah, the gold tops are not easy to match. The best thing would be to take a gold top you already have, if you have one, and bring it to an auto body shop and have them mix you a pint or something of the color. Sometimes they can do that for you. You can buy it straight from them, and then you can put it in a gun if you have access to the right equipment, and you can do that yourself. Still slightly out of tune. I love the sound of P90s. They're great. These are relatively new strings, so they're gonna go out of tune pretty quick. P90s have such a nice bite to them. They're like in between Les Paul pickups and Telecaster. I saw recently a Black Beauty for sale locally. It was a beautiful Gibson Black Beauty with black P90s in it. Black top. Looked great. The guy wanted $1,800 Canadian. I was considering it because I like P90s. And you don't even need the neck. You can use the neck, but I would just stick with the actual bridge. You can hear the difference between the neck and the bridge. So I like P90s a lot. I'm a big fan. A lot of people don't like them. You got to try them. Of course, with the P90s, you get noise. As soon as I take my hand off you probably can't hear it, but there's more hum. But I'm okay with the hum. Nick says, I just got A 2019 Gold Top P90 Les Paul Standard 50s for a steal. Love it. Awesome, dude. If ever you want to sell it, you know who to call. Fat Lobster says, but why do P90s have to look so ugly? Yeah, I know, man. But you know what? They have P90s now that are not plastic covers. You can get metal covers if you want, that look more like standard pickups. So if that's your problem and you don't like those, you can always change the cover for metal. Those look a little bit nicer, I think. I think it's really the plastic covers. That's what really makes them look ugly. They look like soap bars, right? I agree with you. I mean, I had that impression for on P90 pickups for a long time. That's basically why I haven't purchased a guitar with P90s before. And like the Telecaster, I wasn't a big fan of Telecasters because I always associated them with country music. When I finally tried them, I was bitten. Same thing with the P90s. Once you try them, you forget about the look and just concentrate on the sound. You know what I mean? Let's face it. I mean, Telecasters are not the prettiest guitars in the world. They're pretty. They're pretty rough around the edges, right? I love the 56 gold top look. Yeah, me too, man. Everybody needs a gold top guitar in their collection, I think. And then you have Alan that says P90s look terrible on any guitar. You can't win. I hope I'm not offending anyone by playing the guitar with the P90s. You guys are like revolted by P90 pickups. Okay, let me switch to a Telecaster then. How's that? Since you guys don't like the P90s. Let me just switch it. Ooh. All right, let's grab a Tele. We're doing the round robin today with all these guitars. Whoop. What the heck, right? I mean, that's why we're here. We're here to play. We're here to talk about gear and talk about guitars. So if you can't play the guitars, what's the point? All right, let me just tune this baby up a second. And you know what? It's amazing to me that the Telecasters just stay in tune so much better. I mean, yeah, it's off, but very slightly. And I haven't touched this Telecaster in weeks. So let's see here. So these guitars are wonderful. I love Telecasters. I'm a big fan of Telecasters. I've always said it. You have to have a couple of Telecasters in your collection. This is one that I put together actually from a stock Fender body that I purchased. An aftermarket neck that I purchased as well. Tinted this color and put in locking tuners. And obviously custom pickups, brass saddles, compensated brass saddles, obviously a vintage looking pickguard, and one of my favorites. And the cool thing about this Telecaster bridge, the way the actual bridge plate is made, the lip on one side is actually cut a little bit shorter. I don't know if you can see that, so that you can rest your hand comfortably on it and you don't have to rest it on the edge. You know what I mean? So that was something that I opted for. The only other thing I would do with my Telecasters is get a switch plate that has the switch here cut at an angle instead of being straight. All the Telecaster switches basically go up and down straight this way. But there's a few that are making them now with the slot cut at an angle this way, so that the switch is out of the way and it doesn't go so close to the actual volume knob. And that's a great thing, I think. It has such a nice fat sound, this Telecaster. And this is the bridge pickup, which is typically a lot brighter, but it still has a nice fat sound. The neck pickup has some spank in it, some squawk. So it doesn't have a big difference between the bridge and the neck pickup. Like it doesn't become woolly. You know what I mean? A lot of the neck pickups become too woolly and bassy. This one's is pretty good. I like it a lot. Alan says, no Telecaster. I don't like them. Man, Alan, what the heck? You're picky. Picky dude. What do you like, Alan? And why don't you like Telecasters? Tell me. Come on, we can talk you through this. Let's have an intervention with Alan and convince him that Telecasters are not terrible. They're not the devil's instrument, I'm telling you. Telecasters are good. Henry says, Telecaster, I'll leave now, LOL. Another one. Oh, man, you guys. Okay, so you guys like Strats. Is that it? What do you guys like? I mean, come on. He says, it sounds like a tin can. Oh, boy. Let's see here. I'm getting a, Fat Philosopher says, I'm getting a matte neck on my next guitar. What's your next guitar? Is that the custom one that you're building, or the one that you're having built, I mean, or is this another one that you're eyeing now? I buy all parts Telecaster necks and featherweight bodies, all vintage 50s and 60s. Sorry, I have the windows in the way here. 50s and 60s style builds. So where do you get the all the featherweight bodies from? Are those directly from All Parts too? I guess those are not finished, right? They're unfinished bodies and you just paint them yourself. I find that All Parts does make good stuff. I don't hate All Parts stuff. It's just that they're getting harder to find. Well, not harder to find. I mean, the prices are going up. You used to be able to get a lot of All Parts necks on eBay for relatively inexpensively. They were like around. I used to buy them. Like I could buy a Telecaster neck for like between 80 and 90 bucks. Now they're all over 100, sometimes 120, plus the shipping and everything. It becomes a lot more expensive. So let me switch to a Strat, since you guys don't like Telecasters. My prima donnas we have here. Okay, so this is a Strat. Maybe you guys will like this one. This is a 60s style Strat. Let me get this message out of the way so you can see it a little bit better. 60s style Strat. Let's play that guy. Let me tune up. This one I like a lot because it has a nice fat neck. A little bit more girth to it, if you know what I mean. It's always good to have a little bit more girth. That's what she says. Alrighty. I don't want to get demonetized. I was about to play. You know what I was about to play. Anyway. This one is nice because the girth, the neck feels wonderful on this one. Let me just move over a little bit. I don't know why I'm so out of the picture here. I don't know how much I can actually play of a song before it's considered copyright infringement. So I want to like keep them short and change them up a little bit. Alrighty. Henry says, I just don't like the look of a Telecaster, but I admit, in the hands of Keith, that's right. It's not the look, man, it's the sound. It's the sound. Cheap unfinished bodies from China, eBay, roots are all correct for fenders. That's where you get them from. So send me a link to these bodies that you get, because the ones that I've seen typically don't always look that great. So if you have a source for those unfinished bodies, let me know, because I'm always in the market for them if they're good. If they're not good, then save yourself the trouble. We are your master, Tony. Bruce says, actually, one of them is a Telecaster body with a Strat neck. I never really liked that look. I'm going to be honest with you, Bruce. It just seems odd to have a Telecaster body with a Strat neck, or a Strat body with a Telecaster neck. I never really... I couldn't... it's like a... It hurts my brain to see that, because it just doesn't compute for me. So I never go for that. Oh boy, Fat Flosser says, no, keep the Telecaster. Man, we can't make anybody happy today. Who am I gonna make happy? I'm gonna break out the ukulele soon, if you guys don't stop. And then you really will be in trouble. Oh, finally, Lake Placid says, love Strats. There we go. I'm finally getting a little bit of love from somebody. Let me take off the honker. What's wrong with the Strat? I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Strat. You have to like Strats. Nice looking Strat. Thank you, man. Yeah, I love this. For me, a Strat, I mean, it's gotta have the sunburst finish. I like to see the wood. I like to see the wood on a Strat. I have a black one, like a Blackie, except I converted it into a Gilmore style with a black pickguard on it. So I typically tend to like the wood on Strats. Strats tend to have a better neck, provided it has a 12-inch radius. Yeah, this one is, I believe this is... This one is probably not a 12. It's probably a 10. And of course, you get more of the spank when you put it on, instead of putting it in the 5th position, you put it in the 4th, right? Or in the 2nd position. You can get into that spanky territory with the Strats, which is cool. They do featherweight Strat bodies too, but you need to reshape the contour cuts on those to match the 50s and 60s Strat. So I guess they go a little bit more angular. They don't go as round. Or are you talking about, when you say the contour cuts, are you talking about these contours or these contours? Because if I have to start rerouting everything, then it kind of, unless I'm going for a real 60s look, I'm not going to bother. It's too much hassle. So I'm going to go back to the Gibson 1 second, all right? I might as well. We're going to go through almost everything that I have laying out in my studio right now, except for the I have the Kramer that I talked about last week. So I don't know if I want to go back to that one. I'm really enjoying the Vega trem on that guitar now. It's really, really nice. The Vega trem has injected new life into that guitar. By the way, guys, I didn't mention at the top of the video, but if you want to support the channel, grab some swag. Discount codes are always in the comment section if you're interested. That helps me out. We're also very close to hitting the 15,000 subscriber mark, guys. I'm super happy about that. I was hoping to hit the 15,000 mark before the live show this weekend, but we're just shy of 15,000. So I'm happy to see the subscriber rate going up, because there's a lot of competition out there on YouTube land. You know what I mean? So there's a lot more people to spend your time watching. I know I kind of jump down the rabbit hole sometime and start off watching something, and then 3 hours later find myself still watching stuff. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you want to look at it. So this, as you can see, is way darker. See how much darker? Now this obviously is a Gibson Les Paul standard, and locking tuners on this one as well. Definitely more of a fat sound to it. So let's go back to the drive channel. Oops. Always goes out of tune. That's a Gibson. Even with the locking tuners. See that? So definitely a fatter sound with this one. Is this my favorite? Not really. It's one of the better guitars that I like, that I have, but I still feel that my other Gibson Les Paul plays better because of the Monty's pickups. And I'm actually getting Monty to wind me another set hopefully soon, so I can put it into my US PRS guitar. Basically the video that I did on that one you can find on my channel, and I changed the stock pickups on one of my Les Pauls, not this one, it's another one, and it came with burst buckers, which I didn't bond with too much, and I got the Monty's PAF set in there, and it blew my socks off, and they haven't left that guitar ever since. And so now finally, after 5 years, I decided to order a set from Monty for my PRS, and I'm going to be upgrading the PRS, and I hope that's going to like breathe some life, inject some new DNA into my US PRS guitar that I don't play as much now because of the pickups. Not for the look. I had a 1984 US standard maple strat neck and custom made Sullivan Telecaster body. I slightly enlarged the neck root, and voila, super great playing Frankencaster. I don't have a Frankencaster. Maybe one day I'll make a Frankencaster too when I'm bored. Depends on how this COVID stuff goes this winter. I might have a lot more time to build some guitars. Speaking of Telecaster, do you still have that red road-worn player Telecaster with a maple fretboard? Of course, Mike. Of course. Now that one didn't originally have a Telecaster single coil in the neck position. It actually came with a humbucker in the neck. And the reason why, I don't have it here as I would show it to you, but the reason why I swapped that out was because I felt that the humbucker neck pickup was overpowering the single coil bridge pickup. So I decided to go and I changed the pick guard on that, and I just put a regular single coil. The pick guard originally was a reddish and black tortoise shell pick guard, and I changed it for a black one. But it's one of my favorite Telecasters. Beyond the one that I just showed you, that's the one I built myself. That's probably my favorite right now. And the Road Worn is my second favorite. Some people don't like Road Worns. There's not a lot of love for Road Worn stuff. Unfortunately, I like them. They have a small top arm contour cut and a rear belly contour. I match my MJY 60 Strat. I think you mean MJT 60 Strat by reshaping the contours. Yeah, if you have patience to do that. How much do they cost? Is it worthwhile picking one up and doing all that work? I assume that they're pretty inexpensive if you're willing to put in that kind of time. Why do you play guitar, Holland? Okay, I don't know what that means. Why do I play guitar? Because I like to, not because I'm good. I saw a t-shirt with that. It said, I play guitar because I like it, not because I'm good at it. That basically, that sums it up for me. Alan says, if you like a thin body Strat, try an Ibanez S. The Ibanez S, I've tried those guitars before. Some of my friends have them. And what I don't like about the Ibanez S is that they feel weird when you're holding them. It's like you feel like you don't have anything here. You know, I'm used to having a nice chunky piece of wood right there, and that's what she said. And with the S's, it's kind of like paper thin, you know. YouTube has replaced the TV. Yeah, indeed it has. I hardly ever watch TV except for some shows that I'm really addicted to. The Boys, if you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. Great if you like superheroes with issues. So I'm super addicted to that one. I'm rewatching Breaking Bad with my son because he's never watched it. And I like that one a lot. So it's been long enough that I've kind of forgotten all of the nuances of every episode. So I'm enjoying watching that with him again. Still watching The Walking Dead, even though there's no new series out yet for that. And I was hoping that they would come out with some new episodes for Black Mirror, but they haven't. So I'm gonna have to wait for that, I guess. Henry says, well, I'm breezing again. Thanks, Tony. Henry, what are you talking about? What do you mean I'm breezing? What's going on? Nice Les Paul. Thank you, man. James says, now that's a guitar, baby. Yeah, I guess so, right? You can't go wrong with a Les Paul, I guess. Except with the tuning. Add a tune again. This is what drives me crazy about Gibsons. I don't want to play it. You guys almost made me play it. I'm gonna get demonetized for sure. Whatever. You know, I wish YouTube wouldn't bother demonetizing over stupidities like that. It would make playing guitar and making guitar videos and demos so much more fun, you know, instead of hearing the same licks over and over again. Maybe one day they'll figure out a way where we can do that. A man after my own heart. I'm a fan of the 57 Classics. Me too. I love the 57 Classics. A lot of people don't like them. A lot of people find that they don't sound good. I don't know why. For me, they sound great. It's just, these are not 57 Classics, by the way. The 57 Classics are in the 335. And I'm going to go back to the 335 because I just want to play the 57 Classics again. Give me a second, guys. Talk amongst yourselves. .335, 57 Classics. Yep. Let's just put this on. They're definitely, I find that they're less dark than the other ones on the Gibson Les Paul. And they have enough girth and bite to them. That's what I like about the 57 Classics. I find that they're pretty well balanced in terms of the top end and the bottom end. You can get them bitey. You know what I mean? Some people, I feel that they're maybe a little bit too squishy. I don't know. I like them. Monty's pickups should be a great upgrade on the PRS. I hope so, man, because I really do like it. I like them a lot in my Gibson. So if they sound as good in the PRS, I'm gonna be a happy camper. You never know, because some guitars just don't react the same way in terms of the frequencies, depending on what pickups you put in there. So the only way to find out is to get a set. But I figure even if they don't sound good in the PRS, they're gonna sound good in another guitar. So maybe I'll put them in another guitar. But I'm pretty confident that they're gonna sound great. I haven't been disappointed by Monty's stuff yet. So, what is that a big difference with the path on your Tokai Les Paul? Yeah, it is. They just sound so much clearer. It's just, I don't know, I can't explain it. It's just Monty's pickups. You can watch my video where I had a discussion with him. We went over all of this stuff. If you're interested, it's in my video library. But basically, the thing that I have a big issue with is the neck pickup in a lot of guitars, because the neck pickup seems to be muddy a lot of times. It basically becomes woofy. And sometimes you're playing it and it just, you lose the... Even this one a little bit. Here, let me just show you. I'll put on the clean. Let me just take off. Let me just get the... So I don't know if you can hear that. There's a lot of bass, right? Now if I go to the neck, a bridge, I'm going to take off the chorus pedal. Now in Monty's pickups, the difference between the neck and the bridge pickup is not as big. The neck pickup sounds great on its own. You have the note separation and it's not too bassy. It's perfect. It cuts through, and that's what I really like. So that's what really made me love those pickups. The Telecaster bodies are good to go bar paint job. They are soft bodies, so they suit relics. So what are they made out of if they're soft? Are they pine? Because pine tends to be a little bit too soft for me. Actually, kits cost more than new name brand guitars. Depends on the kits. Yeah, they could if you factor in your time and you factor in all of the materials that you need and the parts and the components. One thing that I learned is when you're building a guitar from parts, you don't actually save that much money. Because if you're buying individual parts, they're typically going to end up costing you more in the long run. The thing is, you get to build the guitar the way you want it to be. And typically you probably wouldn't be able to buy a guitar like that. Otherwise, you'd probably just buy it off the shelf. The thing with the guitar builds that you're making from parts is that you can't really sell the guitar as easily as you can a Fender or a Gibson, right? So you're going to be either having to hold on to it or you'll have to part it out again. Alan says, try the Ibanez SA. The body is more like a Strat. The SA, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that more like the Andy Timmons model? It's a little bit more like a Strat in terms of the thickness. I like those. I like that type of shape. I'm glad you still have that red Telecaster. It's one of my favorites in your collection. The level of relicking on those player road worn Telecasters is perfect. Nothing too over the top. I agree, Mike. Nothing turns me off more than an overdone relic job. A lot of people sell guitar bodies. They look like they've been pulled out of a house fire. To me, that's too much. A relic job shouldn't be obvious. You know what I mean? You will have to like stand really close to the guitar to notice it. In my opinion. Because usually that's what relics do look like, the real ones. I put nut sauce on my Gibsons, the nut and bridge, and it helps tuning stability. I have something similar to nut sauce. It's not actually nut sauce per se. It's another type of lubricant that I bought specifically for. It's a high quality thing, and I normally put that on my nuts. I haven't been putting them on. That sounds so perverted, you know. You say I've been lubing up my nuts. Anyways, lately I haven't done it on all my guitars. The problem is when you have quite a few guitars, there's so many that you kind of forget which ones you're actually maintaining. But when I actually change the strings on my guitars, I usually make a point of doing that. It helps for a while, but eventually you have to reapply it. Nice socks. Hey, I'm at home. You're lucky I have pants on. Don't make me have to take them off. What pickups are in the Les Paul? It sounds great. Okay, so the Les Paul, you're talking about that one? Those, let me think now, because I've changed pickups in so many guitars, I actually lose track. I believe those are the Pariah set, if I'm not mistaken. I think those are the Pariah set. They're either Pariah or Porter. I'm pretty sure they're... I gotta go back in my videos. Because my Bacchus, I believe the Bacchus probably had the Pariahs in there. So these must be the Porter Celebration set. Porter Celebration. That's what's in there. I gotta write them down to keep them straight these days because I swap so many back and forth that sometimes I just forget. I suppose your stands are okay for nitro lacquer. Yes, they are. Natural lacquer friendly. There's nothing wrong with these ones. They all will work really good with any kind of lacquer finish. Henry says yes, but 335 is semi-hollow and not the LP. So I guess you're referring to the difference in sound. Yeah, it definitely will. The hollow body guitar definitely has a different characteristic, right? It's funny because when we were talking about the nut sauce and nuts, YouTube actually flagged that word. So you got to be careful what we say here, guys. We're definitely gonna be in for trouble if we're not specifically talking about guitar nuts. Guitar nuts, YouTube people. This is what we're talking about. Have you ever tried the Marzio Path Master? They're supposed to be bright. No, I haven't. I have not tried the Marzio Path Master. As a matter of fact, I tend to lean more towards like independent winders because I like to support them. And if I find somebody that really makes some great pickups, like Porter, like Sanford Magnetics, like Monty's Guitars, like Pariah, I like to support these guys. And so I don't bother buying the ones off the shelf anymore because I can get more specific stuff. I can actually talk to them and explain to them what I'm after. So I tend to go that route these days. But I guess the DiMarzios are great. A lot of people love DiMarzios as well as the Duncans. I tend to feel that I prefer a lot more of the models from Duncan than DiMarzio. I tried the Area 51s that were specifically noiseless single coil pickups for Strats, and I didn't like them. I ended up taking them out and selling them. Oh, I see. So the guitars you're buying, the bodies that you're buying are Polonia. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it properly. Polonia. I believe that's how you pronounce it. They have them on another wood too, but forget what it is. Polonia weighs nothing and resonates nicely. Yeah, the guitar I was playing last week, the Strat, I have it over there. That's Polonia. It's funny, the other day my son came in and I handed him the guitar and he's like, whoa, what's this thing made out of? It's so light. And I told him, I said, it's balsa. And he's like, really? And I'm like, no. But it feels like it. And I think some of the pickups from there was a Telecaster from Fender that I tried when I was in Vegas. I forget, it was an artist series. I don't know if it was the Brent Mason one, but it was extremely light. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they were using in their guitars too, because I couldn't get over how light it was. So let me give you another shot of my socks and pick up this guitar. This thing feels like it's floating because it's so light. This is the one that I picked up for like next to nothing on Amazon. Let me just tune it up. And I really like the neck on this thing. You know, it's a clunker in terms of, not a clunker, I shouldn't say clunker, I'm sorry. It's like a budget guitar, nothing great, but the neck on it feels fantastic just because of the shape and the radius of the neck. I really like it. So this is gonna be kind of my Frankenstrat eventually. I'm gonna use it for all kinds of like little projects and stuff. I swapped out the pickups almost immediately on it and put in an old set of Fender pickups that I had lying around. They were better. So it's like nothing great, but it's so light. It's crazy how light this thing is. So just that makes it so much fun to play. Has a bit of spank to it. Let's hear it with a little overdrive. It's got bite. So it's pretty loud in terms of output. That's why I like playing it. So I always say a little bit of love with some of these budget guitars makes it really great. Oh man, my fingers don't want to move. I gotta stretch them out. Let me go back to some of the questions. Is that called an artist brand? I got a single bridge humbucker, artist Strat for 100, delivered just for the hell of it, planned to put an M made in Mexico Strat neck on it, but the stock neck feels and plays nice. This one is not an artist brand. I got this on Amazon. I did a review. Go back in my videos, check it out. You'll see the link there. This one is called Van Goya. It's a Van Goya brand. The thing that I liked most about this guitar, and one of the reasons why I selected it, was because it was pretty inexpensive, and also because the headstock, look at this, Strat style headstock. Call the cops, we got a 3219. That's not gonna last, guys. I'm pretty sure someone's gonna get a phone call from Fender. But I figured since I'm able to get that shape, I wanted to grab it. I don't know if they're still in stock. You got to check out on Amazon. Check them out. Eventually I need to change the tuners on these, because they're really not that great. They're not as sensitive as I would like them to be. They're okay for now, but they definitely would need to be upgraded eventually. So I can't. I'm trying to get the squeals. I don't have enough drive to get the squeals easily out of this one. Let me go out and so I've been playing the TL pedals drive. Let me just show you what the sound is like straight from the amplifier with no drive pedal. Let me just get the switch here. I have the little foot switch here, so I'm just gonna turn on. So this is without anything except the amp. And as I said, the amplifier right now is only on the 2-watt setting. I can't really crank it higher than that because it's gonna distort everything. It's got a really nice drive. There's no I don't have the drive all the way. Right now the gain is about 12 o'clock. I'm gonna put it at about 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock on the amp, just to give you a little bit more. So there's something rattling on this guitar, specifically on the G string, and I believe it's one of the hex screws here. Drives me crazy. You can't hear it probably on your end, but I hear it. So the Black Star sounds pretty good. Yeah, I agree. That's why I bought it. And this, like I said, this is like $100 guitar, nothing great. Budget pickups in here that I just threw in. So you should hear the guitar, the amp cranked. I mean, this is basically, I mean, the tubes are not even cooking right now because it's 2 watts I can talk louder than the sound on the guitar coming through the speakers. So very, very, very low. But if you crank it up and you get it into the sweet spot, it really sings. That's why I wanted to plug in through it today. And again, you're hearing it through a USB microphone that's right here in front of me, so you're not getting the best representation of sound. But you'll hear it in the video review that's going to come up. The SN1000 is at the top of the range, a highly desirable guitar. A lot of people like those. Some of the cheap China guitars are surprisingly nice guitars, more and more so as time goes on, man. That's what I'm learning. They're definitely a lot more, they're getting a lot better. I'm getting a weird buzzing sound. Anyway, I think it's the single coils because I'm so close to the computer and everything. Let's see if it goes away. Anyway, no biggie. I got the Harley Benton DC Junior Phelim Blue. Love that guitar. Yeah, the DC Junior is a really nice guitar, Beavis. That's probably the next one I'm gonna pick up from them once they start shipping again. But I don't want the blue. I want red. I'm hoping they're gonna be coming out with a nice red color. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing a humbucker size P90. Probably. I was considering just going with a regular humbucker, but maybe I'll put a humbucker sized P90 in that kit. I'm not sure. Would be nice, would be sweet, I think. Depends on how the kit comes out. Take it easy, Henry. Have a nice Sunday. All right, guys, we've been talking. Oh, it's 12 o'clock. Holy mackerel! Where has the time gone, guys? I was planning on just talking for an hour. It's been over 2 hours now. I guess we're going to wrap it up. I've done the round robin for today. I played every single guitar on the rack except for the Kramer and except for the blue Telecaster back there. But I think we went through most of the guitars that I have here. Next week I'll break out some others and we'll go through those as well. I'm going to have a pretty cool 2 new guitars coming in that you guys I think are gonna like, so I want you guys to stay tuned for those videos that are gonna be coming out soon. I'll be working on that, and the video on the Black Star, of course, and the video on the NUX MG300 that I have to do as well. There's so many things I gotta do, guys. I don't have enough time, but I do appreciate you guys tuning in. The number 41 was a lot of fun, guys. I really do appreciate you guys sharing your Sundays with me and going through the gear and talking about gear. It makes it a lot of fun. I always do look forward to my Sunday chats with you guys. I think you guys know that. I also will have a really cool chat coming up with Adam Reaver from FU Tone. And he's going to be coming on the channel and going over some stuff with me as well. A very interesting fellow that has had the opportunity to check out guitars from Slash. He met Slash, he met Eddie Van Halen. He's been doing a lot of work with him, with his D-Tuna. Who else? He's been participating in some development ideas with the guitarist from Def Leppard, Mr. Phil Collin. And he's been around, so he's got a lot of cool stories. We're going to be talking to him and going over some of the products that he's selling on his channel and store, FU Tone, so you can check him out. He'll be coming on the show this week. And then we're going to be talking to some other people as well. Keep those for a surprise. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but stay tuned on the channel because you're going to be missing these great videos that are going to be coming up. And of course, guys, mark it on your calendar, Sunday, 10 a.m. 10 to 11 or so, or 12, depending on how carried away we get. We're going to be live. Okay. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Give yourself a big thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if you like what we're talking about here and presenting. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, man, definitely catch our videos on the Addicted to Gear channel. Subscribe, hit the little bell icon. We're going to hit the 15,000 subscriber mark. I want you guys to be one of them. So please support the channel. And if you want to also support the channel, you can do that by buying some swag. Pick yourself up a t-shirt or a sticker, whatever you want. It's down in the comments below in the videos. You can get a 10% discount on any of that stuff today. If you type in A2G41, you get a 10% discount. All right. That's it for now, guys. Take it easy. Thank you for tuning in. See you next week. Have a great Sunday.